Hello, ladies and gents, Hagbard Celine here, and I know I missed my video yesterday, but I was on a 3+ hour long hangout with Bering, and I just couldn't stay at the computer any longer. My apologies for this being late. I am also spending this weekend helping a friend move out of his house, so, shit happens. As it is, I have before me another beautiful video by a young woman called JadedCultur. I believe some others within this community have already punched her in the face a couple times, but this open letter to the oppressed was just entirely too much for me to bear. I have nothing else to say for the intro. Just know this is going to be full cringeworthy. Let's go. Yeah, no thanks. Fuck your intro.
People are going to say racist, classist, sexist, xenophobic, transphobic, homophobic, ableist, and fatphobic things to you.
Well, way to link all of those groups together and also give them just such a beautifully uplifting message.
You are going to see Facebook and Twitter posts and YouTube videos that make your skin crawl with disgust.
When young women used to say that, we used to describe them as having quite delicate sensibilities, dear.
Your heart pound with rage and your eyes swell with disappointment.
Now it sounds like a severe medical condition.
People are going to say the meanest things possible to you, both on purpose and by accident.
But mostly on purpose once they find out you're a disingenuous, whiny fuckwit. Or a feminist.
People are going to call you a bitch and tell you that you are smart for a girl.
Well, those two have absolutely no business right next to each other in an example of discrimination, but okay.
People are going to call you a nigger and ask to touch your hair.
A, I'm pretty sure you don't really have the right to say that word as a pasty white chick, and B, I would say that touching your hair is by no means oppressive. I've had people ask to touch my hair, because I'm a long-haired white guy. It happens. Stop crying.
People are going to call you a terrorist and ask where you are really from.
Is this weird example theater? I have absolutely no idea how you possibly relate all these things together.
People are going to call you a fag and ask who the man in the relationship is.
And I imagine that would be very hurtful if the homosexual you're talking to is indeed a whiny faggot who's been trained to be triggered at the word.
People are going to tell you are poor because you're lazy.
Some people are poor because they're lazy.
And ask if you can afford to do things in casual conversations.
This is usually a courtesy, so as not to embarrass you in public.
People will mock your accent and confuse your religious and racial identity for completely different ones.
People regularly mock the American South accent, which is where I'm from. I don't get all butthurt about it. People regularly characterize me as a right-wing Christian. I don't get butthurt about that either.
People are going to call you fat and tell you are brave for wearing certain clothing.
That's just the nicest thing you can say to a fat fuck in ill-fitting clothes.
People are going to call you a dyke and tell you that you are just experimenting.
Oh, well that one feels quite personal, dear.
People are going to call you a dirty gambling drunk.
Some of those people will be native elders because they see the effect the firewater has had on their communities, which is why in places in Alaska it's completely illegal for the natives to have booze. This is a law insisted upon by the native councils.
And say that they think that First Nations people get too much support and help from the government.
And some people say this out of the goodness of their heart because they recognize that subsidizing a subset of a country and then saying that they have their own rules within those borders could potentially be dangerous. I'm sure there are some Germans and people from the UK that could tell you about the problems they're having there.
People are going to call you a tranny and ask about your genitalia.
The funny thing is, dear, I don't even think you realize how wackadoodle you sound when you sit in front of a camera and just ejaculate all of these things out at once. You sound completely insane. This is what intersectional feminism does to people. It drives them completely insane.
People are going to push stereotypes onto you.
Yes, that's actually what you're doing right now.
People are going to spew hate speech like it's air and put twice as much energy into hating you, into hating others, than they will into loving and supporting you.
Let me guess, you're gonna define hate somehow as almost as vague as most of you feminists try and define rape or sexual assault, huh? Yeah, jokes aren't hate. I'm sorry to tell you this, but they're just not. Being amiable with people is not hating them. Not treating people like they're fragile little snowflakes is not hating people.
And they will put twice as much energy into defending and excusing their ignorance than they will into listening and recognizing your experiences with inequality.
Oh no, dear. We've all listened. We're just tired of hearing the same old story again and again while you all pretend it's some sort of profound in-depth analysis of the society as a whole. It's not. It's you whinging in front of a camera. No more, no less.
Other minorities will also oppress you. Other people that you expect to get it and to stand with you will stand against you or won't stand at all.
This is because they are too weak and stupid to see what is good for them, so we must enforce it on them by our own wills.
Fighting for your rights, fighting for your voice, and sometimes just simply fighting to be, it will be hard. The world will test you. The world will contradict itself, telling you that everyone is equal and everyone is loved, while singling you out to make you feel excluded and hated.
Oh, so this really is just some special snowflakeism at its finest, huh? This is literally, you were told by cartoons or Disney that everyone was special and everyone deserves to be loved in spite of the fact that most people are mediocre chaff. That's not the facts. The fact is, life is hard for everyone. Life throws curveballs and deceptions at everyone. You making it about skin color, sexuality, the amount of fat one has on one's body, which is a completely controllable problem. You lumping all these together is not helping any one of these groups. It's making some people with legitimate problems ignored because you're sitting around crying wolf.
The world will make you feel stupid for saying sexism is bad and that racism is real.
No, dear. If the world manages to make you feel stupid for that, it's because you're realizing somewhere deep down inside that you're stupid and wrong. No one is denying that sexism is bad. We're saying it's not nearly as prevalent as you'd like to think. The same is the said of racism. Of course people are still racists. Your narratives about race are fundamentally flawed.
But the poor need resources and not condemnation. The world will make you feel crazy for being sane. It'll make you feel stupid for being smart, and it'll make you feel weak for being strong.
Once again, we have laid bare for us, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that feminists and intersectional feminists in particular would like to externalize their locus of agency. Nothing can possibly be an individual's fault because absolutely everything is the world trying to make you feel stupid or weak. I'm noticing a lot of these people are actually stupid or weak. I wonder if maybe you're just finally perceiving that you're indeed stupid and weak.
The world is full of mean, hurtful people. But you are not one of them. You are brave.
Yes, all of your hateful rhetoric is completely okay. Everyone else responding negatively to your hateful rhetoric is oppression. Got it.
You are confident. You are strong. Do not apologize for others' ignorance, and do not apologize for yourself when you have done nothing wrong.
And since you fall into one of these aforementioned protected groups, nothing you do can possibly be wrong, so go forth and conquer.
Do not excuse the mistakes that others make and put the blame on yourself.
Remember, nothing you ever do can inspire hatred of you, for you are divine and perfect.
Do not be silent when met with the hate and ignorance of others. Reach out, connect to those who support you. Connect to those who feel, what you know is real.
Oh, come on, the first half of that was much more honest. We all know that it's all about what you feel. What you know is real is based on your feels. It's useless.
And teach those that are willing to listen, willing to change.
Further brainwash the soft-headed gimps of the world.
And when others try to scream over you and try to bury you in pain and hurt...
Oh dear, you're confused again. Those people are traditionally called feminists.
Try to break you down, fight back and fight through it. Know eventually that you will get past it. Eventually their hate will feed your desire for peace and equality. Know that people like you are the people that will change the world.
It's highly unlikely that a bunch of anti-intellectual feminist studies majors who sit around and jack their dicks on YouTube are likely to change the world, dear. It's highly unlikely.
You don't need to march in the streets naked or to set yourself on fire to protest.
But hey, slut walks, am I right?
To fight. All you need is your voice. Just speak. Demand respect and don't let others speak over you or at you.
Well, dear, that's what I'm doing right now. And you see, through the evils of patriarchal, technological advancements, I can download your video from YouTube, put it into an editing software, and talk directly over you whenever I so please.
Keep pushing and keep fighting, and only be silent when you choose to be silent, and not when others try to silence you.
Well, aren't you just so brave and beautiful?
Know that what you feel, others feel too. And as long as we are silent, as long as we do not try to reach out and to fight against hate, We are divided, and we are silenced. And those mean, hurtful people, they win.
You couldn't possibly sound more like an oversized fucking toddler when you say things like that.
When we speak, when we fight, in whatever way we know how, we create change.
Well, JadedCultur, let me tell you, you and the rest of your little YouTube feminist army are indeed creating change. Between this and the articles that are being written in support of pedophilia and the obsession people have with denigrating just all of Western civilization as a whole, I believe people are starting to get tired of you. So, in a way that you had absolutely no intention of causing, you are indeed creating change. As a matter of fact, it is this change I am indeed worried about. Because aside from the rational people out there who are attempting to have discussions and dialogues with you who you are ignoring, there are plenty of irrational people out there that are also gaining the upper hand because of your fucked up narratives. This is your fault. Any ground that is gained by crazy right-wing nationalists or any other group is your fault. Any backlash that occurs is your fault for doing all of this wrong. And I hope you know that. Well, that's it for us today, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you all next time. I hope you understand that I'm keeping these brief and again somewhat light because I am working on a fairly major change on this channel. So I hope you'll all bear with me in the interim. Goodbye and good luck.